into the United States, you got to stay on the coast. You go into the middle of the country, you start drifting, it starts to get dangerous because people don't have the perspective is lost. They don't run into your kind that often.
Pride a hell of a drug, injecting your ego with lies, numbing it up. Cause the heavens and skies ain't never enough. When you got hell in your eyes, then it severed you up. Feeling lost without no remedy, feeling like everyone's your enemy. Fruits to label backwards and Hennessy. You need people to see you in a certain light, otherwise it's not alright. So you put on that fake smile, hold it tight. Times that you cry, can't let him see it. And then he wipes it from your eyes and you feel defeated. I know inside you ain't alive.
Is there any topic? Karizmatik?
Yeah, so we just basically, it's all relationship based. So it's
I knew that much. I didn't know if there was.
Well, I did want to give you a little shout out and go over because you said you had a little rap podcast going on.
Yeah, it's actually come back, and I think I've done. Oh shit, maybe 3 episodes.
Yeah, so I definitely wanted to give you an opportunity to plug that.
It's like it's basically whenever I want to put it out because I don't want to like put it over my head because my life doesn't let me do it all the time, so I try to put in a lot of effort. So
I see that, man. I mean, it takes a lot of time and effort. I mean, thank God for Irish. Like, I literally I run into a pop and play situation, which is beautiful. I'm blessed.
Yeah, I'm clueless a lot on the marketing aspect of the podcast, because I haven't like ventured out into trying to get it into other groups of people other than the people that I know.
Yeah.
And
that's the hardest part is the marketing element. There's just like so many places you have to post, so many like specific things will or won't get your things seen in those areas. So it's something like the hardest part, which sucks because it's like the least creative.
Yeah, even like just the format of like when putting it out, like releasing links for people, because it's put on through Podbean, but then I've heard a lot of people complaints about, I got to get Podbean to listen to it, and then they just give up on it.
Well, that's weird because Podbean should push it out to iTunes and everywhere.
Yeah, it's all set up. There was a problem where my profile, I guess, wasn't completed. So the RSS feed was completely off. So it got to the point where I had to reach out to Podbean and be like, what the fuck's going on here?
I just like this.
We gon' roll up, we should pull out. I can't focus, man, I'm so damn. Who drove us? I don't know. All I know is when you smoke, then you better have some. I be up all night. Man, your bitch showing love all night. She know that a nigga plugged alright. Yeah, they love me for the buzz alright. Yeah, I got some bad habits. I'm smoking, drinking lean ass asthmatic. Bad habits. Itchy speed, jumping schemes like a jackrabbit. Now I'm seeing triple, but I'm making double. That'll leave him puzzled. Oh, girl, you single, but you came here couple. We don't keep it subtle. I know you never did this before. Girl, no, you ain't a hoe. If you do that some more, yeah. Ooh, diamonds new. Tell the truth, I got the juice. Twins on me like glue. Bustin' one, I'm fucking two. You ain't gon' shoot. Shoulder lean like Uzi. Niggas think I broke the coop, cause I left without the roof. Ain't no time for sleep. Shit, your bitch got time for me. Hit her real fast, she leave. Shit, she brought that gas and weed. Yeah, stay wet like gasoline. She know I'm a savage B. Hold her fences at the door, nigga. Go ahead, stash the weed. Cause I'm lit, nigga. This is what I finna do. Hella rich, nigga. Out here ballin' with the crew. Tell them niggas get their weight up. Cause when you ballin' like this, you gotta stay up. Cause I be up all night. Man, your bitch showing love all night. She know that a nigga plugged alright. Yeah, they love me for the buzz alright.
Greg, if you check your Facebook, you'll see that you've been tagging the post.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what we're all. We're just basically putting out the link for anybody that wants to watch live.
Okay.
I was in the rave, counting up blue faces. She gon' get a face, then I gotta replace it. Stepping in the red bottoms, I don't do no aces. 2016, we was trapping like it's aces. You need some grace, I could bless her. I could eyeball it, don't measure. Shorty eyeballing my necklace, because my diamonds is wetter. He come run down and get wetter. We We put the boy in a stretcher. I never fold under pressure. Just did a show for the extras. Main hoe in a bankroll when I make them both do backflips. Me and you are not the same, no. Prices up now, nigga texting. I bought a big body, had to change clothes for the mind mirrors with that action. That nigga coming up short. She knew that mama, these shirts like I lasted.
I be up all night. Man, your bitch showing love all night. She know that a nigga plugged alright. Yeah, they love me for the buzz, alright. Yeah, I got some bad habits. Bad habits. I'ma smoke and drink and lean ass asthmatic. Hey, bad habits. Bad habits. Get your speed jumping schemes like a jackrabbit. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hear ye, make way for the Kingz. The Kingz are here.
You think the bitches are great because you're fucking seasonal, nigga? You can't be seasonal! Niggas got, this shit's 24 hours a day!
Kingz. You're listening to the Kingz Podcast with your hosts, Karizmatik, Irish O'Neal, and Moush.
Welcome to another installment of the Kingz Podcast. I am yours truly, Karizmatik.
What's up? It's Irish O'Neal.
Moush.
And today we got joining us the great Greg Olson.
Hey.
How we doing?
Pretty good. Thanks for joining us, man.
It's good to be here. Gave me something to do to break up the Sunday.
Oh,
yeah.
fucks yeah. I mean, like,
The Lord's Day.
let's start off with the question that everyone's asking. What did you do with the Olson twins?
I ate them both during the quarantine.
We can't let him find the third one or he'll become perfect Greg.
There's 3 of me now. There's 3 of me. I've tripled in size. They're just what I needed the push to get to that next level. I needed to be the inferior Olsen.
The inferior superior Olson.
You got that right.
He's out here like Cell from Dragon Ball Z.
Yo, every time
like androids.
Every time he eats another one, he doubles in height.
You have yet to face my final form.
Poor mortal. Oh my God. How are you today, my kind sir?
Doing good. Got up early, went down to the Home Depot, got some shit for the house, started working on it. Now I'm taking a break, and I'll go to some grilling after this. So
Ooh, okay.
Love it.
Okay, party at Greg's house.
Yeah.
After
Sunday
quarantine.
Funday.
After quarantine.
after the quarantine.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, but how about we kick off them principles?
Do you want to do plugs first? And then
Right.
I got you.
Thank you,
That's what I'm here for.
Yo, I'm your boy, Karizmatik. You can catch me at Karizmatik IPE on Facebook, Karizmatik_ME on IG and Twitter. That's with a K at the beginning, a Z in the middle, and a K at the end, all right? Book me, yo. Looking for some gigs out there. Things are starting to open up. Let's get this shit rocking again. Comedy, let's get back in flux.
Yeah, that's right.
Moush.
Ani_Moush on Instagram and Twitter. Follow me. Follow the Kingz Podcast on Instagram as well. And then follow my Etsy store. Buy_Moush on Instagram. Buy Moush on Etsy. Gonna be updating that a little bit more soon, but I started putting more on there. I have a bunch of my new boxes that I'm doing on there, so check out that.
Get her boxes. Get her
Yeah,
boxes.
I just started making bath bombs, so that's cool. That's what I'm doing. Father's Day boxes are gonna be up there soon, but right now you can, if you want to order one, you can just contact me on Instagram, and that's it for now. Oh, shout out to the SDR show on Gas Digital. Check that out there. I think they go live not live, but it's out on all streams tonight, Sunday. Check them out. So yeah, that's me.
Oh yeah, Greg Olson. What do you got to plug with people?
Oh, just follow me on Facebook at Greg Olson, Instagram at Greg Olson 1980, Twitter at Big Funny Boston, and then also I have my podcast, Monkey Bars the Podcast.
What do you cover on the podcast?
Hip hop music, everything to do with hip hop music, just anything I want to think about and kind of put out there as an episode I'm doing right now. So,
And where can they find you?
I think we're Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes finally got released on those platforms.
There you
So
go, catch him.
that was a
Yeah,
big
buddy.
moment.
Oh yeah, guys! You can catch me on Instagram and Twitter at It's Irish O'Neal. Check out the STC podcast every Sunday. You can catch us, call in and talk shit with me in Overtime Often. You can catch me here every Sunday and Thursday on Kingz. On Saturdays, the Midlife ISIS podcast. Check out the other podcasts I'm producing, Trash Conspiracies on Wednesdays with Vaden Jones, and I think we have a couple other ones coming down the pipe. But,
Yeah, a couple projects that you can see coming out of the studio. So actually, shout out to everybody who's just been coming through the studio
There's a lot of
and
people reaching out.
and utilizing it and just like working with us. Everyone has been an absolute pleasure to work with. So thank you to everybody who's been, hanging out with us during this time.
Check those out, guys.
Yeah.
Check out all the shows on Gas Digital. If you need a code to get a trial to get in, let me know. And check out my band Danesleaf at danesleaf.bandcamp.com. Get the album Fading Leaves. And also check out Dragonfire, mixed and did vocals for their album. It's out on Spotify and everywhere major. So get that shit, you bad motherfuckers.
And if you like the tracks playing at the beginning of the episode, you gotta subscribe and like my boy Elos. That was his track, and it is fucking fire.
He's the next big thing coming up. I'm telling you, dude.
Watch.
Should we get into
Where's he out of, Karizmatik?
I'm sorry?
Where's he out of?
He's out of my hometown of Randolph. That's my little bro
Okay.
right there. That's my little
All
bro.
right.
It's,
Dude, he came over and did a Kingz episode a while back, and like before the show, I just had a couple of like instrumentals playing, and he just like out of nowhere jumped in and was freestyling, and like not for nothing. A lot of times when people jump in and freestyle, it's awful, and it was just so good, like immediately,
Yeah.
like tremendously good. So yeah, Elos is the shit. Check him out. Should we get into the principles?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
please.
Get into that King's mindset,
I
everyone.
wake up with a king mentality.
And,
Oh, good. Sorry.
and Greg, I definitely want to hear what you have to say about these, because I mean, you're one that has captured a female and kept her for a long time, so I'm guessing she's happy. So we definitely want to hear your
Hope so.
thoughts on these principles.
So we have 3 of these principles. First and foremost, confidence. We're always preaching you confidence to get these ladies. I always liken it to a salesman. You know your product's good, and you're trying to sell it to the people that come through. And whether they buy it or not, you know it's good. You know the pitch. You believe in it. And if they ain't buying, fuck it. Someone else will.
I mean, if you don't want to buy what you have to offer, who the fuck gonna want it? You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to fuck you, who gonna want to fuck you?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
That's 100% true, because you have to have the confidence to, know what you want, go out there and get it. And there's so many people out there that it's like, move on to the next one. If that's the case, there's plenty of people out there that will have what you want to offer.
Yeah.
And that was perfect, because you basically touched upon our second principle, which is honesty, because you have to be able to tell them what you want and what you're looking for, and at least articulate that and give the person a chance to accept you for who you are, or tell you that that's not what they want. Mm-hmm. And with that, you can move on and find there are people out there that will accept you for who you are. So unless you're being honest, you won't find that. You'll keep running into dead ends.
Facts.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then our third principle is social intelligence. So basically what we mean by that is just like whenever you're approaching anyone, whether it be a female somewhere or like just anyone in life, have something to say when you're approaching someone. Be interesting, have a hobby, just have something that makes you, you know what I mean? And be passionate about that. Bring something to the table. And yeah.
Be more than just a dick and a pussy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Add something.
Absolutely.
Yes. Have something to bring into this equation. I mean, like, just some good dick, like, they'd have to be checking off all the other boxes, goddamn stuff for you just to be bringing some good dick.
Good dick's only going to last so long. At a certain point, your back's going to give out. You're not going to be able to keep them on dick alone.
That's the thing, is like you need to be like your whole you, and they should be adding to whatever you're bringing, right? So like, and vice versa. So
Yes.
they should be bringing something to the table as well.
So I wanted to talk a little bit. So I mean, you touched upon your podcast. I thought might as well just start there.
What?
Talk about his podcast a little bit. What do you cover in your podcast?
So it's just a hit. Like when it started out, it was kind of like, oh, great, I do comedy. Let's do a podcast. It would be so cool. I have an extra amount of money. Like, let's buy some equipment or something. I thought it was all cool. And then I realized the pain in the ass it is to ask people. It's like, I got it started, and I mean, you guys have so much content now that people are like, "Hey, let me jump aboard this and try to, get myself out there," because you keep doing it through consistency. And like, so the podcast has been out now well over a year, and I think we're maybe at. It's so bad because I deleted some episodes.
Ooh, no, never.
No. See, I started watching like bare knuckle boxing and getting drunk and doing commentary to it.
Okay, I see.
And then I realized it didn't translate over well, and not many people would be into it. So
That's fair. I was gonna say, like, I mean, not make it public, but I understand why you would delete those ones if they were just drunken.
You can just make those live rants on like Instagram or something.
it just didn't fit the format of the show,
Yeah.
where it was like it had nothing to do about hip hop. So
Yeah.
there's 9 episodes outside, that have aired, and I think I'm doing another one tomorrow. It's all about lining them up now. And because there's no comedy, I can put a little more effort into the subject matters and go with it. So I'm really having a lot of fun with it right now.
That's awesome.
Have you thought about having any local talent on?
I will go that direction eventually, but right now I think I'm good for at least 20 episodes that I have in my head. Like the longer that I have them planned out with subject, the more I can acquire that material. But it's not really about doing research about it, because a lot of it's just based on my own opinions.
That's fair. So what topics have you covered, just for like a little taste?
Oh, so the last episode was it was called Talk Like Sex, and that was a shout out to Cool G. That's a shout out to Cool G Rap, and all it covered was raunchy hip hop songs. And it wasn't like you're gonna hear like LL Cool J talked about, because that was more of like a sexy song. I'm talking about like straight up dick,
Did you have
eating
like
ass, whatever, like ridiculous stuff rappers can talk about. Like Ghostface is brought up there, Cool Keith,
I love this.
whole scope of guys.
Did you have Adidas? Did you play Adidas?
I did not play that because there's so many songs that I realized when it first came out that I could do a part 2 to, so it's never really done.
All right,
You know,
that's fair. Because
there's only
all
so
day
much you
I
can fit in
dream
the song.
about. All day I dream about. Yo, that was the shit.
There's a fire tune. Bump that shit.
Hell yeah, man. And you
Yeah,
just
that's
point
a
at
dope
people,
song.
you're like, yeah, you know what I'm thinking about. Ah! Fuck yeah, you know what I'm thinking about, bitch. Yeah. Yo, that was my vibe back in the day. But like, speaking about being, a sexy, raunchy motherfucker, is that how you, because you've been married for a while now, is that how you pulled in your wife?
We've been together 10 years now. Just the
Kudos,
other day it
kudos.
happened, and we've been married for 5 years now.
Wow.
That's fucking awesome, man.
Congratulations.
And you got some little chitlins running around?
We do. We have a kid right now that's drawn on a notebook that came down here. It's only 1, and she's 3.
Okay.
Supposed to be upstairs, so I haven't really acknowledged it yet. But I got a close eye. I've already texted my wife, like, please get her. And now she's sticking her tongue out at me and throwing raspberries at me. So she's already taunting me. So is my kid.
Oh man. So she's sitting there.
It's a
giving
young
you-
comic in training.
She's just spitting out one-liners.
Yeah.
She does have some jokes, and it's always the same punchline. She just changes it up to different jokes, and
She's
it doesn't
just trying
make
new material, dude. Come on. That's what you
I do
have
test
to
her.
do.
I do test her.
Who else is supposed to
We
bounce
can't
this
go to
off of?
open mics right now.
She's my only audience.
Okay, we got a special guest. I mean, oh my
Dang.
god. I mean, but like, I think another thing to touch about is So I mean, that's how you guys met. How do you think you've been keeping the relationship alive for the most part, especially work life and home life and being a comic and all that type of stuff, being a dad?
Yeah, there's a lot of work, and we're so it's like you're in a relationship and you know someone for years, It's like, yeah, that's cool, but being married to someone is a totally another level. You know, it's like I'm still a work in progress to be a better husband and be more.
But I think that kind of speaks to what we were saying as well at the beginning. You guys kind of do you feel like you guys kind of build upon each other or help each other become better?
Yeah, I think she definitely lets me become better because letting me go out and try comedy after we had our child and we're like late into our lot, you know, because I'm a little bit older and
How old
she's
are
let
you?
me 40 years old.
40. All right,
Yeah.
all right. How long you
Yeah.
been doing comedy?
Like 2.5 years now.
Okay, word. How do you find it?
Oh, I find it great, you know. It was something I knew I wanted to do for a while, but I just never tried it. So, and then all of a sudden it was like at one point, I feel like everybody needs to have some sort of outlet or hobby that they do, something for themselves. And I think that's one of the greatest things in a relationship. You know, I'm always trying to reach out to my wife and be like, come up with something that you want to do for yourself and go with it. And it's just about like, if I'm giving that time, you know, we're on equal fronts on both sides. So then when we do see each other, that time is more appreciated.
Yeah.
Like we both work opposite shifts as well. So that's like in itself can be hard, especially having a child. So I'm still a work in progress. I can't sit here and say, oh, I'm so great, you know?
Well, I mean, Irish has no problem doing that, but I'm perfect. My mommy told me so. So, what do you think being a dad has in any way shaped your comedy at all?
Oh, yeah. I've gotten plenty of material from my daughter and being a dad. It's definitely helped a lot. And it's being able to tell jokes about kids to audiences and stuff and being, you know, a dad and stuff like that is just kind of another way to connect to the audience.
Do you think it's also kind of like from being a parent, you have a new perspective of kind of analyzing human beings? You know what I mean? Because now, like having, I mean, like for lack of a better word, having created one and help it develop and watch it become the person it is. I mean, does it give you any deeper perspective on, let's say, matured human beings at this point, like what they might have gone through coming up and how that might have shaped them as an individual?
Yeah, I think like a lot because so many things affect kids, you know, even like the way I talk to my daughter, like when she's so young, certain ways affect her. And when you see people later on in life, you know how much, and then being older, when you're young and an adolescent, like so many little small details can affect your upbringing. So you can't really like judge people. And, you know, as being in comedy, you get to see a wide scope of individuals, you know? So
Yeah.
that's always
Oh,
that's
yeah.
always cool. And I think that's like helped me grow as a person, you know?
See, like if I'm being completely honest about the comedy scene, like just jumping back to that real quick, you are one of the people that got me that kind of opened my eyes to one-liners because I never really took them seriously before.
Yeah, a lot of my jokes are kind of in and out, you know? So it's like I don't like to sit there and talk like because that's one of the main things is I talk about myself, but I kind of just want to get in, be funny, get out, and just keep that whole momentum swing going on.
Yeah.
So once I start to get better is when I will talk about myself. But for the most part, I just like seeing like this is the subject, this is the punchline, and giving people that weird thing to be like, he made that punchline off of something weird and unique, you know?
So, is the driving force for you in comedy creativity then? Because I find it for me, like I liken it to sex a lot. I like giving pleasure or like causing pleasure or like seeing pleasure happen and knowing that I'm the cause of it in the situation. And I find a lot of that. In comedy. Is it more so for you a creative outlet, or is it like let's say a release or of another kind for you?
I think it was like I always knew I was like pretty funny. I consider myself funny, and when you're growing up and you have all your buddies and everyone hangs out and they drink, you get to make your friends laugh.
Yeah.
And then when everyone has kids, that just goes away. So you don't really have that outlet anymore of like busting balls and just making people laugh, and you get stuck up into what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it was always about making people want to laugh. And then it was like not knowing, because a lot of stuff I bought, it was just terrible sets, not even knowing where the funny was, and then just getting better. And that's really what it's turned into now, is like, I know I can make the people laugh, let my jokes get better, and that whole side of things.
Okay, I like that perspective.
I feel like my approach to comedy was so selfish. Like in comparison,
I mean, go ahead.
I was just like, I just want to make myself feel better.
I mean,
that's
fuck
what
everybody
we all
else.
Want.
Like, I
That's
don't
what
get
we all want. That's what we all want. Like,
I mean, it all has to start somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, like, I started comedy because I was like depressed and like was a super insomniac. You know what I mean? But I mean, obviously everyone gets into comedy for a different reason. But insomnia, like, because I was like had insomnia so bad, I could only fall asleep if I was like watching comedy. You know what I mean? So that's one of the many reasons I got into comedy. But I don't know. I just feel like my reason is always so selfish compared to other people's.
Well, I mean, if you want to go selfish, another reason I found is that I find a way that through comedy, I see that you can teach people how to relate to others.
Yeah.
And just by teaching them their ignorance through laughter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how trivial are these thoughts when you really put them up
like when
against
someone
the
makes an Armenian genocide joke and all Armenians across the world get upset, but they forget that there's a joke in there.
Yeah, like, and like, again, I will always say this: don't go to a comedy show and take it serious. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Get fucked.
Assholes.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's the worst.
Like, come on now. Everything can be funny. Yes, everything can be funny. It's the comic's duty to find a way. Give them a chance.
Yeah.
Why would you want to laugh about stuff that's already funny? It's like it's more interesting if you can take something that just like is so miserable to bring up, like a genocide or a Holocaust or even like what's going on right now in the country, and if you can make something that's so terrible across the board be funny for even a moment, like that's skill.
I thought you had a great joke the other day.
Yeah, for sure. The risk itself into being like, I'm going to put this out here and getting the people to laugh is the huge part.
Yeah.
I was like the other day, yeah, the man was, what did I say? I was like, white people steal everything from black people and make it uncool, including kneeling.
Yo, like, I literally just broke out laughing in the middle of working.
He had to call me because he was like, I read like the first 3 words and I couldn't even make it to the end.
I was rolling, man. That shit was hilarious because it touches upon a lot of shit.
What I'll never understand is like those people that go to a comedy show and then don't laugh and then will complain about the comic. One, like, did you not know what you were walking into? And if you didn't know, like, if you're just like gonna blind date, like go into a comedy show and not know who the comic is, then laugh anyways. Like, that's your own fault. If you don't know who the comic is and you have a certain sense of humor or whatever.
You don't have to laugh.
Like,
leave.
Yeah, just leave. Exactly. Even better.
Leave.
Even better, because we don't want you there. You're bringing down the vibe.
You don't want to be there. Like, you're gonna bring down the vibe.
Yeah.
Like, just leave.
Well, and honestly, it's like those kind of people. It's like I'd be curious to see what their relationship trajectories have been like, because kind of tying over with like the most recent Midlife ISIS podcast, they were talking about that whole situation that anyone in Boston comedy knows going on right now.
I don't think he does. Just like I didn't. I don't think he would.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll try not to say their names, but there's a male comic and a female comic, and they're feuding. It's still unclear to me what the problem is. It essentially seems like some form of money was exchanged. Whether it was for prostitution or not, I don't really know. Kind of seemed like a cover for it, but it's something to do with OnlyFans. And then the female showed up to a location that actually wasn't the dude's place. And then upon texting him, he was like, "Aha, you goofy whore! Like, why would you think I'd want to fuck you? Got him." And then her response was pretty much like, "Well, I got your money." So what exactly is the problem? It's like a hooker got paid to not fuck, and she's mad. And a guy, also, what guy pays a hooker money to fuck and doesn't fuck her? Like, it just.
If I
Where's
had
the
a dollar for every time I got called a whore and wasn't, I'd be a rich whore. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
My only thing is this, like, first off, I don't believe in whores. I say that, like, the only time that I think the word can even be, like, tossed around is literally if a circle of friends can, like, easily describe you back and front, like, I feel like that's a problem. If you don't, that's not. But, like,
What?
do what you like. I'm just saying, like, if me and my best friend are able to discuss your pussy like that, I
Like,
think
in
that's a
detail.
little like that's a little bit too much in house. You
And
know
then,
what I mean?
and then like our buddy Frank over here is like, oh, are you talking about fucking Susan? We're like, oh yeah, and he's like, dude, and those flaps on the side lip, oh my.
you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
but whatever. Like, if that's your choice to do that, that's what you decide
exactly.
to do. And
Exactly.
that,
exactly.
whatever.
I'm
But
not even shaming it.
other than that, I think she's just a sexually liberated woman.
And
I like
great.
those. Good.
Yeah.
We are all on board for that
Yeah.
here.
I'm just saying that
Very
on
much
both
so.
sides of that story, there's holes in the story. Where's the cum? Where's the cum?
Where's the cum?
That's the
It's
big
not
thing.
in the hole.
Those-
It's not in the hole.
That archetype of person, like, but you know, barring that situation, but like, let's just assume the guy accused is like actually guilty of whatever's happened. I don't really believe it personally, but let's just assume that it is. It's like that not even this person, but that archetype of guy that does that is. It's so funny. I was talking with several women the other day about it, where it's like you get these guys that come on like, I'm a male feminist and like so pro woman and everything, and then you find out that like, oh, they're the ones that are really doing like this crazy like fuck you goofy horse shit and like all this stuff versus the guys that aren't male feminists and stuff. It's like with them, you kind of like, you know what you're getting.
I just know that anytime on the news when they describe like a pedophile, they're all, when they ask the neighbors, they're just like, he was always just such a nice guy, like, you know.
Wolf in
Dog.
sheep's clothing. They're wolves in
It's
sheep's
all.
clothing.
It's they always go overboard on their polar opposite of what they
Right.
are. You know,
Facts.
Right.
See,
like
I mean,
he was a child mentor. You know, look at that like wrestling
Right.
coach there from Penn State there.
Facts.
And
Well,
not even saying that either party is guilty. This is all just, you know, conversation.
no, it's true. Like it honestly is true. Like if you look at me, like I'm not like polarizing either way. I don't think like. But like at the same time, women get around me and they're very comfortable. I've been told so many times, like it's offensive to my size how often I've been told they're not afraid of me. It's offensive to my fucking size.
If
like, bitch,
anybody
you should be.
you have to be. Look at me.
And I apologize for saying that to you, Karizmatik.
like I have to be intimidated. Look at my size. They're like, I know you ain't gonna do shit. Like, fuck you.
It's literally like
But
that. It's like that Big J
You
joke.
ain't gonna do shit.
No, but like that's the thing. It's like they can sense when you're bullshitting. So why even bother?
Fair.
Why even bother?
Well,
But
and
if someone let you tear up that ass, you would.
Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
Amen.
ever put that ass in my face and think something ain't gonna happen.
Well, and
know what I'm saying?
it all comes down to the phoniness of these guys that pretend like sex isn't the prime directive at first. It's like Greg, if you've ever seen, you know, whether it was the woman you're currently with or in the past, like if you saw a chick at a bar, like what is your first thought if you're interested in her? It's not like, oh, I'm gonna go talk to her because she from afar looks funny, or oh,
Yeah, she can read.
Yeah, she looks like she likes mystery novels. It's like you can't tell that. You're going after like the one part
shit,
they're
at
at
attracted.
first it's looks, yeah, you want to fuck them at first. There might be more there, but you don't know.
Whether
at
if you're a
first.
big ass man, you like big tits,
Yo,
you like her
That's my
hair.
next pickup line.
There's
You look like
something
you
about
look,
her.
You look like you
That's
like
the
mystery
first
novels.
interaction that you're gonna go. You know?
Facts, and it's
Oh my
just
God, that was great.
I don't know why it's crazy because we keep running into this instance of there's so many guys, especially nowadays. It's like, you know, whether it's just like to sound dramatic, the death of the alpha male or whatever. But it's like you see all of these guys out here that and on this podcast we've talked to so many guys who go like, I don't care about pussy at first. Like I want to get to know you and like vibe with you and this and that. And it's like.
Like I'm sorry. Like even if a guy isn't vain, our dicks work on vanity. I am sorry. Our dicks
Facts.
work on vanity. Like there's no way I can be like, oh my God, she's intelligent and get a boner from that. Like that doesn't happen. That's not the way dicks
At
work.
first,
I don't. Yeah.
I don't know. That still doesn't activate for me.
I'm not trying to fuck an intelligent ugly bitch.
no. But like your boner you haven't got a boner randomly from like something that
inside.
isn't like looks related ever. Little chub, never, not once.
Fucking is physical.
Just like a little.
No,
why
our
am I hard right now?
Our dicks don't work like that.
Not one
That's
time.
why when women think they're gonna talk their way into a relationship
You're saying
with
like
a guy,
a chick that I wouldn't be attracted to, I see, and then
No,
get a
no, no.
random
You're
boner.
still attracted to them. I'm saying afterwards, after you've got to know them.
no,
Yeah.
the attraction, like with a guy, like there's that's why there's many situations where like the people in the relationship are no longer attracted to each other, but they stay together because they love each other, but they're not attracted to each other anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like that happens a lot.
Yeah, I don't think we're saying the same
What are you?
things. But
What are you saying?
it's honestly not that important.
Okay,
So
'cause
we're just gonna move
it went
on.
right over my
It's
fucking
not that
head.
important. I did want to say, can we just check the Blog Talk Radio, make sure no one's
I
calling?
don't have that going.
Oh,
so I have a
okay.
virtual call.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah,
Okay.
like like our dicks work off of vanity. Yes.
Continue on. Move on.
So I just wanted to make that point because like girls are always like, oh, he's so vain. He's so like we have to be attracted to fuck.
Yeah, and our prime directive for what we want out of any quote unquote relationship, whether it's a just purely physical one or you're trying to like date them or whatever, it's like what we're trying to get is different than what the women are trying to get. But a lot of times, like women will vilify what it is we want because it's different from what they want. It's like we're not the same animal, sweetie.
Exactly.
Like that's just the reality. Now women you can think that this like that's the thing, they'll go like you ask them what the male perspective is and a lot of them don't know, and then you tell them what the male perspective is and they go, well, no, that's wrong and misogynist. And it's like, okay, this is the reality of how men feel and are. Like you can go, I don't like that, but this is our truth.
Well, here's the other thing. Why would it be the same as the female perspective? We're different beings. It is gonna be different.
Exactly. But like my thing is that like thinking that like misogynistic means like male that you put male before female, or that you put women down or something like that. But like if you are a man and you think as a man, isn't your first thought manly? So isn't it inherently a little misogynistic?
Yeah. So and what they want us to do then is take that natural masculine feeling and basically repress it for them. And it's like, so you want us to edit who we are for your feelings.
Yeah, and I can understand
I'm not willing to do that.
I can understand that as far as society goes. Like if I'm not interested in you in like the animalistic sense, which means I probably won't be interested in you in the relationship sense at all because I'm not attracted to you, then there really won't be that interaction. There shouldn't be that interaction.
Greg, what are your thoughts on misogyny?
Oh, I think some of my jokes have been called misogynistic, like over the top misogyny, and I don't really give a shit, to be honest with you. And it's kind of like I'm married, and it's just kind of like most of the stuff that I say, my wife will laugh about it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if the woman in my life doesn't feel that I'm this way at all and I'm telling a joke, everyone else can go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
Amen. Goddamn.
Do we have a drop for that? Holy shit.
I'm gonna make that a drop.
Yeah.
Timestamp it. That's the Greg
It's the
Olson
truth
drop.
because I just get upset when people judge so many people off of like maybe 5 to 10 minutes of like them talking. Like you're not going to judge me as a person or anything like that. I know who I am.
And like I'm not even a religious person if you couldn't tell from the shirt, but it's like even like wasn't the Bible, didn't they talk about something about like let he who hasn't sinned without sin cast the first stone? It's like who's casting judgment on this planet? There's not a single goddamn wholesome person on this fucking planet. Even the most wholesome person, I guarantee I can find something. They crushed a lizard when they were 4, something.
Oh, no, if they're that flawless, their
You're
fetish
projecting.
is fucked. Their fetish is fucked.
Isn't it weird? Isn't it odd how like people will go to support somebody right away, and it's like you only know this person like maybe 2 hours here and there.
Mm-hmm.
There's 22 hours left in the day that somebody can be a fucking scumbag or somebody who they aren't, and that's that's the way I feel.
Scary?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Jeffrey Dahmer, 90% of the time, was a great guy.
Yeah.
And then you found out he ate people and shit. Like, weird white guy shit,
Yep.
Gotta throw race into there a little bit.
I'll stop you when you're
That shit.
wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We got shit on lock in that. That's our category.
like I keep. It's hilarious because like, remember the lady
We're the
that
superior race at being serial killers.
like have you guys heard the lady the news story of the lady that threw her autistic child in a lake? You guys didn't hear that shit?
Market for STC today.
So like literally like there's a video of it. Like she's walking beside a lake and she literally like it takes her 2 pushes. She tries twice and successfully the second time pushes him into the water and he drowns. But like instantly blames it on a black guy.
Who was recording?
I think it was like one of those public cameras because it wasn't like a shifting angle. It didn't seem like it didn't seem like a camera. It wasn't that great of picture.
Fuck.
So like you see her push him into the water and like she blames it on a black guy, but like when have you heard a black person do that as a crime? Like
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Like
that's not you guys'
we just pick up a random kid and throw him in the pool. Like
from the only person that has a child in this room. What the fuck? You know what I mean?
And a white child at that, we're gonna take that chance.
The kid stuff is definitely where I get more, like, you know, being a dad kind of makes you emotional at times, and it's weird when like things can hit you and it relate to you, and you know, I've never been someone that will see something and get like emotional, and now it's completely different.
Yeah.
So it's made me a better person for sure.
No, I like that. I like that. That thought process on it.
That's good to know if I ever want to become a better person. You know, just pop one out. You know.
There's a baby. Oh my God, I feel like I'm a better person now. Thank you, baby.
I don't want to become a better person. I'm already great. I'm gonna stop when I'm ahead.
I like being an ass. I like being an ass.
There's not room for both of our egos in this room.
Yeah.
Yo, like, but like, I just wish they like. If they were gonna try and vilify us, they did it with shit that we do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, stop. Like, we see a 200 police officer, we're still gonna shoot? No, we ain't that suicidal. we ain't. Like, I don't know. I'm just tired of it. Can you blame black people for black people shit? That's all I ask. Get it right.
We worked very hard to establish what our niche is.
Yo, come on,
we want our credit.
Like serial killer, white guy. Kidnap a kid, white guy. Gang shooting, black guy. Like, come on. Come on.
White guys even try to take that from you.
Well, I mean, they tried. We still. Got that shit locked down. I mean, Mexicans are pretty good at that shit too, but I digress. But going on about the relationship, what do you think? Let's say this: do you think comedy plays into your relationship?
Oh yeah, sometimes it makes it worse.
I was expecting the opposite. Do explain.
No, just because she'll get sick of fucking hearing about it, or you know.
Okay.
If I think of something, I ask her, "Oh, what do you think about this?"
Is comedy like your mistress?
You go see her at night.
No, but
come home late.
Yeah, you know what adds to it.
Like booze.
You don't tell all your friends about it.
It's cool because like she's not out there. Like she knows I put in the work and stuff, and then she'll only be able to go to a show, like maybe like once every 6 months or something like that. And then she goes and she sees me, so she gets to see like new jokes I've been working on, or you know. She gets nervous and shit for me sometimes, and
where did you guys initially meet?
We met. I'm like a pioneer of internet dating.
Okay.
I met
her on MySpace.
This is so I met my wife on Plenty of Fish.
Oh my God.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It was funny because it was interesting. This whole story is pretty interesting because I broke my ankle and was like real bad, and like I can't really like, it's like still pretty bad where like I can't run anymore and stuff like that. And I was just like really unhappy with things. And then at the same time, I turned 30 years old, got out of a terrible relationship, and I told myself, all right, I'm 30. This year I'm going to sleep with 30 women. And then I started, and like this was right when internet dating like was first coming like on strong, and things were going good. And then I met my wife probably, I think in April.
Yeah.
How many women
I
have
was
you
gonna
gone
ask.
through?
I wanted to ask that question. I mean, fuck you.
Well,
Give me my drop. Give me my drop right now.
I think she was 6.
Oh shit! All right,
She
that's
was
a good
6,
number.
so it was all right. You know, like I need to step it up and have a strong summer. You know, that's where the numbers I was gonna make up numbers.
See, I can attest to that. It's literally immediately you're like, I'm gonna be a savage. You run into your best relationship, and I don't know what I don't know what the fuck happens. I don't know what it is. You're like, yo, I'm about to
Because you're not trying to find a relationship. That's why you do it.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens.
That like inherent. It's like we talked about this. This is like early King stuff. We talked about like there's like this unconscious like thirst energy you put out when you're trying to get bitches, and when you don't give a like the first time I ever like discovered this, my drummer Eric, him and I were gonna go to a club. He'd come over and we were smoking, and we were just talking about this. We were like, yeah, it's so goofy. I'm like, you know, when you don't try to get women, I feel like you just get it better. And we were like, you know what? I was like, we're going to this club. I go, let's right now let's go. We're gonna go there tonight. Just you and I are hanging out. We're not gonna pay. We're not even gonna look at bitches. And I go, I guarantee that we get several come up. And I swear to God, like 3 came up to each of us at different points in the night. And we were just the whole time we'd look at each other like, dude. And it's like, when you're not trying, there's just something, there's a pheromone or something you put out where they're like, why is this motherfucker not looking at me?
By the way, that's
Everyone
the
else
best feeling in the world when like you know that you're not looking at someone and then you can feel them looking at you afterwards. It's the best feeling in the world. That just brought me back. Back when we could go out and have a good time. Nothing was on fire. Yeah.
Shit. I mean, so she was number 6. How did you keep on after that, or did you stop immediately?
I didn't stop immediately because there was another one in the rotation. And number 5 was still kind of in the rotation.
Okay.
You got to round them over to the next number. Go forward to the next. You don't just jump into the deep end.
There you go. Exactly.
Baby step.
Yup.
I knew what I was doing.
Water wings.
This was well thought out. You know.
Do you know if she was fucking someone else at the same time?
Okay, take the training wheels off. They're off.
Yeah. So we started dating, and then like real within the first 4 months, I think at like month 4. I forget, like, I think we went to, like, a wedding that she invited me to in New Hampshire, and we went there, and then on the way home, I used to live in Somerville on Winter Hill, and there was a bunch of, like, fire trucks everywhere and shit, and we had to go around the street, and the cop was blocking off my road, and he goes, "Where are you going?" And I said, "I'm going to 111 Glenwood." He goes, "Not anymore, you're not." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Your apartment's on fire."
What?
And I had told my wife, like 4 blocks, like when we had to turn around, like, "What's the commotion about?" I go, "I bet you my piece of shit apartment caught on fire."
Oh my God.
And I fucking called it, and it was on fire. And I like, they let me go up, but everything was trashed, and I found like cash in the apartment. So then I had no house, and they were like, "Oh, we could put you up at the Sheraton." And I was like, "For how long?" And they're like, "1 night." And my wife was like, "Oh, you could just come." Like, she lived in Revere, and like how most Italian girls in Revere live, they have like an in-law in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and stayed with her, and then I was staying with her looking for a new apartment, and then it got to a point where it was like, I got drunk one night and was just like, I don't really want to find a new apartment. just stay. I think I told her I loved her that night too. So.
Wow, man,
Yeah,
does that resonate?
And then and we've been together. So we started living with it together within 6 months, and we've been together since.
Yo.
Tremendous.
That's hilarious. I mean, they do say that trauma starts the longest relationships. You guys being able to bond over a traumatic event.
Sure does.
Yeah,
like
I guess so.
Like Corona and shit.
And shit.
Yeah, and shit, yep.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an interesting time. And then to go on and be like, wow, I married that woman. It's all pretty cool, you know?
Dude, I mean, she bailed you out of a fucking crazy situation just later on to become your wife. That's a great story.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially because it was
God
like
bless.
on the internet, and like our first date consisted of like I think she picked me up at Malden Tea Station, and we went out bowling and smoked a blunt and ate roast beef sandwiches.
So romantic.
That's romantic as fuck.
Wow.
Blunt and roast beef sandwiches.
Yeah, so it was
What a
alright.
date.
That
It
just
was-
that just
yeah.
says romantic all over. It
Mhm.
just says hearts and shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did you guys put any brown mustard on it?
And she,
That's
Do you have any
code
Grey
for
Poupon?
anal.
Some Grey Poupon. You put some Grey Poupon on there. You put the Poupons.
yeah, and we did. And the funny thing is we slept with each other the first night.
Yeah, there you go.
That's how you know it's real.
Grab that ass, man. Hell
That's
yeah.
how you know it's real.
Yep, when I was sober. That's like, so
That's
it
how
was-
you know it's real.
See, I like when a chick fucks right away, and here's why: because it means two things to me. One, they respect my time, which is very important to me.
Oh, Irish.
And two, it to me, a chick that does that right away, it tells me that they're not afraid to show you that they're more than a pussy. Like a lot of chicks will hold out for 3, 5, 10 dates, who whatever. And I go, I think that's a chick that's afraid because she goes, once I give up the pussy, he's not gonna be interested in me and walk away. A chick that right away gives up the pussy to me, I go, damn, this bitch is so confident that she goes, yeah, here's my pussy because I know I got plenty of other shit to keep you around with.
I just thought of something. If ladies want to test this, see if he says no before you give him some pussy.
What do you mean?
See if he says no before you give him some pussy. Ask him to do a bunch of shit. If he won't say no.
Mhm.
That's how you know he's doing whatever he can to get some pussy.
Yeah.
He
Pretty
won't
much.
say no. He won't. Whatever you want to do, he's gonna say yes. He's gonna fucking say yes. Until you give him that. Once he gets that pussy, you'll finally hear what he honestly wants to do. You'll be like, yo, can we go
Why
hiking?
do
He'll
you
be like,
think
nah.
chicks wait so long? Do you think we don't know that
It's to
shit?
your detriment.
It is because now you done did all this activities with this guy. You want to continue doing these
I
activities, but you don't even know if he
know.
likes these activities.
I
for
know,
real.
but like that's just counter advice to what he just said.
Is it?
Kind of. You're
Oh.
saying if you want to test it, ask him to do shit and see if he says no.
No, he's saying this is a test to tell if the guy's essentially being a simp and he'll just do whatever
I
you want to get
see.
pussy.
Okay.
Like someone like me, I don't give a fuck. I'll tell you no.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of the pussy being like, well, I'll leave. Bye.
I got you.
Bye. There's other pussy.
Okay.
I'm not gonna jump through 40
I'm
hoops
saying
to
that's
get
such an
pussy.
easy way for someone to take advantage.
It is.
You
And
know
like-
what I mean?
And I told you I speak Orbit, so I like here's a free gift. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Just see if he says no.
Yeah.
And they won't.
There's plenty of pussy. I don't need to jump through 40 hoops to get yours.
Yeah.
Someone else will come right through and just give it to me.
Yeah.
It's so simple. It's so he's so nice.
And
I really
I feel more respected when they do
test
that.
him. Do shit that the guy like a perfect one. No guy early on. Not many guys would say yes to like. Well, let me ask you this, Greg. Have you ever had a mani pedi?
No.
See, there are many guys. Many guys don't know the joys of a mani pedi.
It's
so
true.
and so like they naturally would just say no to it. So like that's a great test. You know what I'm saying? Would you get a manicure with me? No.
I got an easier one. That's just as flamboyant. You want to go on a picnic?
Oh fuck no.
Oh my god, you want to go on a picnic?
Oh, that was way better. Fuck no.
so I
Fuck
could
no.
sit
I'm
in the
not.
sun.
No. I'm not. The fuck? We can do this inside the house, bitch. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Picnic? I'm gonna
That's a
look for a
great one.
random ass field.
I've done that to someone before.
Nah.
course you have.
Yeah. And I'm sure he said yes.
Yeah, I'm the goddamn master.
I don't think I at age 40, I don't think I've still been on a picnic.
Exactly.
You know, like I'm anti-picnic.
yeah. Yeah.
I think
Granted,
most
this
guys
was in
are.
high school. This was in high school. So obviously, like, any high school
See-
kid is going to try to get some pussy no matter what.
See, either that or he was gay. Like one of the two. Like one of the two. Like either he was just trying to get the pussy or he really wanted some dick and he couldn't. He
I
couldn't
think
get some.
he shaved his head and is engaged now. So,
To a man.
no.
I checked. Because you can do that now. You can do that
Yeah.
now. I had to check. I needed to test my theory.
No, but he's still a cuck for sure.
But that's essentially the thing, because it's like I tell ladies all the time. It's like, okay, the two approaches are essentially our approach or the one we're describing, where the guy will jump through. And it's like, let me ask you something, ladies. Either way, you're gonna get, if the answer is gonna be ultimately the same, that like, hey, I'm just trying to fuck you. What's better, me coming up front and going, hey, I don't know if I want all that other shit. I know now that I want to fuck you. Or the guy that you spend maybe 3 months with and you build a little bit of a connection and then you fuck him and then he's like, cool, check off the list and he's done with you.
And then ghosted.
Yeah.
Straight
what's
ghosted.
better? That's the thing. Would you rather build a connection with someone and then think he's a piece of shit because he lied to you, or just have because we're both the goal's the same on both sides, trying to get some pussy at first.
And also you have to just like we say, like have sort of like the social intelligence and understanding to pick up on the cues if someone's just bullshitting you. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like do those tests.
It's very simple.
You know, Greg, do you have any tests that you recommend?
Oh God, it's been so
Like
long.
the prostate test.
Amazing.
It's been so long.
Where did that come from? I have no idea.
I mean, ass is your thing.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
What am I saying?
My God.
Hey, that was natural. But like a fart.
In your element.
Yeah, any sort of test at all you can think of? I know it's probably been hot.
Oh, when it comes to women, I mean, I guess I don't like when, like, this day and age, if a woman doesn't spend her own money.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Like, even my wife and I are still good about the money issue. And it's like, when we're both not cheap people, but it's just like where everyone's trying to do their own thing in their lives. So it's kind of like, if I'm going out with some girl and she's not coming out of pocket at some point, chances are we're not having much of a future together. You know? I know it's an real old school way of fucking thinking.
I'm just like a firm believer, like if you're in the traditional, you know, guy girl goes on a date and like guy pays for dinner, like girl pays for dessert or like a round of drinks or like something like that. You know what I mean? I don't see anything wrong with that.
Well,
if that, you know, is
I
the scenario.
just need the offer.
Yeah, or at least in a genuine, not like
Yeah.
no, for real.
Well, I don't even need it like first date or second date. It's just at some point that it's
make
like,
the offer.
oh, you've been getting, you know, like
Yep.
evening the terms to where it's like, okay, it's cool. I know you can carry yourself like an adult.
Don't
you know,
use me like a money card. You know what I'm saying? Like
Because,
you have more
like-
respect.
Well, and
for me than that.
it's like, don't waste my fucking time is the thing. Like, you'll get chicks there's literally chicks out there that'll just go on a date just to get a free meal.
Yeah.
And shit. And it's like, bitch, I would much rather just be in my room playing video games with my homies than out here trying to get pussy from you.
And, like-
so don't waste my time if you're not gonna give me some pussy.
I mean, think about that. And after how many dates? Let's say you spend $50 a date paying for the meals.
$150 for pussy you're not getting.
You could have got pussy for $150.
Yeah, who are you? Oh, dude, I almost said some, I almost name dropped. Whoa.
Did you see me? It's like I read your mind. Grab that thought. Don't say it.
We don't want to have to make an edit.
Not in this studio. Not in this fucking studio.
no.
I just stumbled upon that number.
Well, that's the thing. Patrice always said, man, as guys, our time is our pussy. Women need to understand how you feel, the protective nature you feel over your pussy. That is how a guy feels about his time.
Yes.
And if you go on 5 dates with a chick and she doesn't fuck you, that's 5 times she's fucked your pussy, but you haven't fucked her.
Here's the other thing too.
She's raping your time.
This is what I don't like, and the whole ghosting thing, not cool on either end. However, what it happens, you guys go on dates, whatever. Say guy decides to ghost girl, and then girl gets upset. Okay, why? Did you not give him did you not have that discussion? You know what I mean? Like, there's always a reason. There's always a reason. And vice versa. Like, girls ghost guys all the time too, but there's always a fucking reason. You know what I mean? Like,
Definitely.
just if you go by those 3 principles that we talked about at the beginning of this podcast, you should never be ghosted, in my opinion.
You shouldn't, but you still will because people are afraid of being mean.
I know,
too.
but like, it just will.
It'll happen less.
It'll happen way less.
Yeah. But people are still pussies. Can you be honest and just let the person know if you're not interested? Thank you.
Or if you're just like, dude, I'm just interested in pussy, then we can go get some dinner. Like,
I mean,
if you're down or not, just let me know.
that's true. I think that's very direct. Like, yo, give me some pussy.
No, I'm interested in pussy. Let's do that, and then we can go get some dinner. If somebody said that, like,
How many women do you know that would say yes to that?
A couple.
A couple, so not the vast majority.
I know a couple that have been on this podcast / that are going to be on this podcast that who would have been okay with that.
Okay. I want to know these people when they're on the podcast, so I can question them about that.
If that's the case, I'll buy dinner.
Who's gonna pay? Your wife? Like,
You know what I mean?
yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm just trying to make a point.
You made a point,
Yeah.
but Greg, I want to thank you for joining us for the Kingz Podcast. I kind of got to wrap at this point. I got to get to my little sister's graduation, Corona style. But we want to thank you for joining us for the Kingz Podcast. I've been yours truly, Karizmatik,
Irish O'Neal,
Moush,
and
Greg Olson.
Hey.
the one who ate the Olsen twins.
Both of them.
Thank you, my man. We definitely got to get you back on, man.
All right, sounds good. I had a good time.
Thank you,
Us
bro.
too.
cheers, everyone.
All right, take care.